Now, from the intro shots, you probably saw that I'm in a completely different place. But we have a 2019 Audi S5 Sportback. Beautiful car. It's in your typical Audi kind of flat gray primer looking color. I'm actually a little bit up the road at my buddy Tyler's place. Tyler is a tinter. He does a lot of vinyl wraps. He does PPF work. Beautiful, beautiful job. And today we're doing a little collaboration job on this thing. We're gonna be doing a one-step polish correction, and in the front he's gonna be putting PPF. So this is Tyler. This is the guy that does all the beauty work when it comes to PPF, vinyl, tint, all that stuff. And we're gonna be working on this job for about 4 days or so, right?
Hopefully less, but yeah.
So it should be a good one. But tonight I'm gonna get going with a rinseless wash on it just to make sure it's all prepped and ready for tomorrow when I decontaminate it and then polish it. So in order to do a rinseless wash, we're gonna be using Optimum No Rinse, also known as O&R. And what this is going to do is allow us to wash the car, since it's not that dirty already, and not have to pull out, you know, a pressure washer, foam can, and all that tonight. If it feels like we're getting started quick in this video, it's because we are. Whenever you're seeing this, me doing the rinseless wash, it was like 8, 9 o'clock at night, something like that, on a Sunday night, just trying to get this thing prepped and ready for the next morning. And yeah, an Audi S5. We're doing it at my buddy Tyler's shop. We're doing a little collaboration job of getting this thing completely corrected, making sure it has PPF in the front, making sure it's coated, making sure the calipers and the wheels are coated, just everything you can really think of. It should be a really fun time, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video, so let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. So to clay the surface, it's the usual white, fine clay bar from Adams, and then 95% water, 5% the last touch detailer from McGuire's. Look at it dangling. He's taken off the front lip, and it's just 3M shape. Ugh. So now that we're all settled in, the car is up on quick jacks, we can kind of slow things down and focus on getting this thing corrected. This is a beautiful 2019 Audi S5 Sportback in Quantum Gray. A lot of people think it's Nardo Gray, a lot of people think it's also Nano Gray, but Quantum Gray is essentially both of those, but with a little more yellow in it. Really, really nice color. Audi is geniuses, like, hey, let's just throw primer on the surface and then throw clear on top and call it a paint color. But overall, it's going to be pretty difficult to correct, actually. I mean, when it comes to Audis and just Germans in general, their paint is really hard. It's kind of hard to cut through and get out swirls and scratches and stuff, unlike Japanese or like domestic vehicles that are more medium to soft, and it really corrects well to just a one step. So because of this, we're going to be using a little bit different of a pad and polish combination, which we'll go over that. With that being done, let's move into a paint inspection. Now, as for what we're going to be using to polish, we're going to be doing a one-step, but we're going to change it up a bit. So by changing things up, I am talking about using Rupes' high-performance polishing compound. This stuff is really good at cutting pretty deep, but not too deep, and then also finishing to a really nice finish. But for this detail, we're going to be focusing on this specific product matched with some Rupes wool polishing pads. When it comes to one-steps, I like using foam. I have yet to have tried the medium wool cutting pads from Rupes until just now, and I really like this stuff. I mean, honestly, wool I don't really like to use because of its deep cutting capabilities, and I'm not a guy who just throws the hardest stuff at it, but knowing that Audis have pretty tough paint, I wanted to go in this with a really good aggressive one-step that can also finish quite nicely. And the wool pads do just that. If any of you guys watch Ammo NYC, this is like one of his favorite go-to one-steps, and I wanted to copy that and give it a good shot on much tougher paint. And I gotta say, it actually worked out great. And that's a wrap on the front bumper. It looks gorgeous, especially the piano black trim. Came out fantastic. That stuff needed to be polished, man. It was so bad. But now we're gonna work on the front quarter panels right here and the hood. Once I get this little curve right here in the corner panel all nice and polished, we'll drop the hood. Alright, so what we're gonna do now, actually, before we pull out any 5-inch pad and get to going on the hood, is we're gonna go ahead and do some paint touch-up. You guys have not seen me do paint touch-up before, and there's a couple different ways I do it. So one way I do it is obviously with a cocktail stick, dip it in, dap dap, that works really great. Same thing with a toothpick. Or you can use an actual dapper, this thing, right here, put some paint in there, and go to town. Or you can use even, what the heck is that thing called? You could use a syringe, like a diabetic syringe. That also works great as well. So the entire point of me getting the front end completely finished is so that Tyler can come in and PPF everything and do the headlights while I'm going around the rest of the car and getting it nice and polished up and corrected. So the next day Tyler got everything prepped and ready to go for PPF so that when I got there I could pull that camera out and be ready to go. Alright, so you're about to do the PPF. What are you going to do with your plan?
This is a general idea of the patterns. Yeah. So what I've done is gone and measured it. I've got a 60-inch roll, so I need 20-inch height on the upper bumper, 12 inches on the lower, and then 25-inch on the fender, but I need 100 inches of it. Yeah. So what I can do is, essentially that's how it's gonna stack. Lower, upper, but what I'm gonna do is go and create rectangles, and another software cut out all these rectangles, and now I have my shapes for this. And then it's bulk, it's much easier.
Dude, that's awesome. I wish I knew how to do PPF, but screw all that mess. Chicken?
Or a rooster.
Now with the car car being PPF'd up in the front, I'm going to go ahead and get everything prepped to get the rest of the car corrected so that way we can lead up to coating it. As you saw, I switched to a 1-inch wool pad so I can get into those little nitty-gritty areas and cut a little deeper than I naturally would with a foam pad. And yeah, this thing is awesome, dude. I am loving this car the more and more I go at it. The PPF, I will say, I got that whole clip section cinematic thing all edited up just for Tyler on his YouTube channel as well, so I'll link that down below if you're interested in seeing all the other different kind of cars he works on. Day 3 with the Audi. Today my plans are to get the doors and the roof polished up and done. Everything else is pretty much finished and ready to go. After I do that though, we're going to focus on coating the calipers and the wheels. I already did one of them just so I can get a consensus idea of how I was going to wash them indoors. So gotta figure it out. Should be pretty easy, should be pretty smooth sailing. Last night Tyler set all the PPF up. This car just looks, it's like the icing on the cake when you put PPF on top. It just looks so good. And then later on, planning on coating it. So got a long day ahead. First things first though, as you guys saw right there, Tyler pulled up the Quattro logo on the front, made a stencil. He's gonna paint it black, and I'm gonna polish underneath it. So we're gonna start with that, and then move on from there. I also swapped to a Yellow Rupes Foam Pad whenever I went to the paint, kind of because I wanted to compare how it did versus the wool. And I gotta say, the foam pad paired with the high performance polishing compound from Rupes is a perfect combination. The wool was great as well. I just saw that it cut maybe a little too deep and left little crow's feet kind of marks in the paint, to which I had to go back and polish a little lightly so that way it'd go away. The foam didn't do anything of the sort. we're gonna move on to cleaning the wheels, coating them, and the calipers. We're on schedule.
Start it up.
Cleaning the wheels and prepping them for coating was probably one of the more enjoyable parts of the detail, mostly because how clean these wheels already were. A lot of times you'll get wheels that are pretty disgusting, but these were pretty simple because there's not a lot of miles on them. We used an iron cleaner on these wheels to decontaminate them because, as you can see with it bleeding purple, there's a lot of mechanical fallout on them. A lot of that has to do with this car still being on OEM brake pads, which just blow off a bunch of brake dust, but this also makes for an enjoyable experience. Combine that with some P&S brake buster and some assorted brushes, the cleaning process was really enjoyable.
This is lit.
Now that the wheels are cleaned and decontaminated, we can prep everything for coating, and the way I do that is I take CarPro's Eraser, spray it thoroughly all over the wheels, and then take a clean microfiber and just wipe it down. You want to make sure that the wheels are completely clean slate, because if there's any oils or dirt left over, that coating's not going to be able to bond appropriately. And then the coating I use is Gion's Q2 Rim. I've been using this stuff for years. My own wheels are coated with them, mostly because the gloss this stuff gives off is great, it lasts for years, and then the hydrophobic properties are awesome, no brake dust sticks to it. It just really is an overall good product. And it's very simple to apply too. You just take a little cut off piece of microfiber, wipe down the wheels and stuff, and then take another regular microfiber towel, wipe that down just like you would whenever applying a ceramic coating to paint. Just make sure though whenever you're done you throw away those microfibers you used, because you're going to get glass shards that start to cure inside the microfiber, and that's definitely not good. wheels turned out fantastic. I'm so happy with the way this is looking. I mean, the entire car in and of itself, I'm just so excited with the way it's turning out. So now we need to move to the calipers and get those coated and make that red paint absolutely pop. That's it. It's a very simple, straightforward process. I highly recommend anyone and everyone to get their wheels and calipers coated if you're capable of doing so, because it's the icing on the cake. I mean, look at these calipers. It's so good. Alright, wheels and calipers are coated, and that's like the icing on the cake. It looks so good. Now if you notice, the rotors, they have surface rust on it, which is totally normal because I ended up throwing water all over it. Whenever we drive it out and hit the brakes for the first time, it will just shove a cloud of rust dust all over the nicely done up wheels, but you know, they're ceramic coated now and stuff. We can pull it back in after the aftershocks, blow it all off, should be pretty much good to go. So now I'm gonna use the bathroom. We're gonna go ahead and wipe down the entire car with some IPA and then coat it with some of Xpel's fancy stuff. Before we do that though, I'm gonna take the Q2 rim and go around back to the exhaust tips that I recently polished and get those coated as well. It was a very last minute thing. I didn't record the polishing process, mostly because, as usual, I forgot to do them. Alright, so today for the ceramic coating, we're going to be using Xpel's Fusion Plus, obviously because we use Xpel products for the PPF, and Tyler's an Xpel dealer, and there would be a little bit of controversy if I were to pull out some G-Technic stuff. So, I've never opened this yet, we're going to check it out. We know how to install it. Alright, actually this is a really nice setup. Oh, they give you a really good looking dropper too. And we're gonna put this on like a normal ceramic coating. So let's go ahead and get started. it is now coated. That was quite the experience. This stuff is very high quality, I have to say. It applies very easily, but it is quite finicky. It's really hard to gauge the cure time with it, so I just put it on, wiped it off. Kind of the same rule it comes with G-Technic. This stuff's really good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really impressed with how it is. At first, I didn't get my hopes up or my expectations at any level because that's just the kind of person I am. But fantastic. I really, really do like this product. Xpel did really good on this. Alright, starting the final day, we gotta put the wheels back on this thing, wipe it down with Bead Maker, throw some tire dressing on, pull it out and do some finals. We also have to put back on the side skirts and the Quattro. Wrapping it up. That's it, we're done. Man, this job was a really big job in a small amount of time. And I say we did a pretty good job, man. I'm really happy with it. So I hope you guys liked it as well. And if you did, please show me down below by leaving a like. And if you like this sort of content, anything in regards to cars, go ahead and press subscribe and ring that bell to know every single time I upload. Right now, we're just waiting on the owner, cleaning up the shop and stuff. Not a whole lot going on, but I'm gonna go home, get some more videos edited and uploaded for you guys. So stick around, got some more cool stuff coming up. Say bye.